I'm in the Hawaiian island of Oahu. Where tourism and the real estate market are booming. But what does that mean for the native population of these islands? And what does that have to do with colonialism?
We've reached this really boiling point where we cannot survive at home anymore.
It's like we're being pushed out of Hawaii, and as a native Hawaiian, I'm very sad for our people. Every day, I think about that.
We realize that America isn't all it's cracked up to be, that they've taken more than they've given to us.
I came here because I often hear people say Puerto Rico is on its way to becoming the next Hawaii. Is that a good thing? I asked native Hawaiians.
Welcome to Hawaii.
Hawaii is very much a part of America.
We are not American. We will die as Hawaiians. We will never be Americans.
The beauty of Hawaii's beaches is unreal. I had never seen water that shade of blue. So it makes sense that Oahu alone gets more than 4 million tourists a year. But all those tourists have to do is turn around to see the harsh reality of life in Hawaii. People living on the street, many of them Kanaka Maoli, or native Hawaiian. The irony is that they can't afford to live on the land that was once stolen from their ancestors.
At the White House yesterday, President Clinton signed a formal letter of apology to the people of Hawaii.
With the Apology Bill of 1993, the United States admitted to illegally overthrowing the government of Hawaii 100 years earlier. Because until the end of the 1800s, Hawaii was an independent nation with its own kingdom, led by Queen Liliuokalani. But that was about to change, thanks to missionaries that had come from the United States 7 decades earlier to preach about Jesus. By the 1890s, the descendants of those missionaries had become powerful sugar businessmen who wanted to make more money. They thought they could do so if only they were in charge. So they decided to take down Hawaii's government. And the United States helped them. They sent a military ship, and in 1893 they removed the queen and made Sanford B. Dole the new leader. Now, if the name Dole sounds familiar to you, it's because you've probably seen the brand before. For a few years after the overthrow, the U.S. struggled with what to do with Hawaii. One president called the overthrow an act of war. But then came 1898. And the U.S. went on a power trip with land-hungry leaders who were now going for Puerto Rico, Cuba, Guam, and the Philippines too. That same year, the U.S. annexed Hawaii.
The United States did not bring Hawaii out of poverty. It did not bring Hawaii into enlightenment. If anything, it crushed one of the most amazing progressive places and indigenous-led nations, on the planet.
The new government effectively banned Hawaiian language in schools. Students were punished for speaking it, and they attempted to erase native Hawaiian culture, turning it into something to be marketed to tourists.
What we've experienced is the loss of our land, the decimation of our language and our culture, being overwhelmed and becoming more and more of a minority in our own ancestral homelands.
By the time Hawaii voted in favor of statehood in 1959, the Kanaka Maoli were already a minority. Another thing that changed after the overthrow was the use of the land. The new territorial government had other plans for the places that were being used for agriculture.
You had fish ponds and these taro patches, and our people farmed, and I think someone got the idea that they could develop it and create hotels. And so they actually condemned our lands. They kicked Hawaiian people off the lands, and they built up Waikiki, and they dredged a huge area called the Alawai Canal.
Today, Waikiki looks like this. For some, it's an image of progress, but poverty among native Hawaiians is higher than the state average.
If I had a time machine, I wouldn't choose statehood for our people. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
I believe statehood was a good thing. This is 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 parking. It's going for $799,000.
Myla Gibson is a realtor in Oahu.
Business is great. I mean, of course, it's like a catch-22 for me because I am Native Hawaiian. And so on one hand, I'm thankful that I get to make a living in the place that I love so much. But at the same time, my heart breaks for people who aren't so lucky.
The median price for a single-family home in Oahu is over $1 million. That's how much this house was selling for in a neighborhood next to Waikiki. It was one of Mila's listings.
Gentrification to me isn't such a terrible thing. There's a neighborhood here called Kaka'ako. It was all just warehouse space and a lot of people sleeping on the street and a lot of illegal activity. So now you've got Howard Hughes that's gentrifying the neighborhood.
Great amenities, walkable, with easy access to a 100-acre beach park.
And of course, you've got delicious restaurants there, and you've got lifestyle, and you've got community. So to me, that's very positive. What I want to see, though, in addition to the gentrification, is something for Native Hawaiians, something for people that are, of a lower income bracket. We have to do something. Otherwise, we're going to see more people on the streets.
About 30 miles from the luxury high-rises, we found a long line of people waiting to get food.
Where's your home?
You're looking at it.
Cindy Yumiamaka's husband is Native Hawaiian.
I never thought I would end up here.
We got to the point where we couldn't afford to pay the rent any longer because they kept adding and adding and adding, and it just... there was no place for us to go.
Hawaii is currently the most expensive state to live in the U.S. Some Native Hawaiians have opted for moving away in search of a more affordable life. Today, there are more Native Hawaiians living in the continental U.S. than in Hawaii.
I have a lot of my family moved to the mainland already, and I don't want to go there. I want to stay here. This is my home.
For some of those who stay, food drives like this one can be life-saving.
It helps a lot. If not, you'll never see vegetables on their table or fruit.
Nice to meet you.
This is the lifeline, and that lifeline was broken in the name of development and all that.
100 years after taro patches like the ones in Waikiki were destroyed, Hawaii now imports more than 80% of its food. That's why those still fighting for independence are prioritizing farming again.
Aloha, my name is Pu'uhonua Dennis Bumpy. I'm the head of state of the Nation of Hawai'i.
The Nation of Hawai'i has its own flag, its own constitution, and rights to this 45-acre piece of land in Waimanala.
We always say that we exit America here and we enter Hawaii there.
The story of this land goes back to the 90s after the U.S. signed the Apology Bill.
Wanted independence, yeah, not just sovereignty, but independence.
A group of Kanaka Maoli occupied this beach park, demanding freedom from the U.S.
They admit and confess to overthrowing our country, right? You confess to that, and we still got to go through some process that you think is right for us.
After 15 months, the governor negotiated with them and offered them a lease to this land in exchange for ending the occupation.
This is the beginning of establishing that. It's like a dot in what belongs to us. Instead of expanding the land base, how about bringing all of our people back into this land base and saying, oh, here's our country, it's getting bigger.
They're growing food, they produce their own energy, and they're creating their own banking system.
If we break our dependencies and we develop independent solutions, we don't need anybody to tell us we're independent. We will be independent.
It wasn't until recently that I learned about all the parallels between Puerto Rico and Hawaii, like the decimation of agriculture and how that has led to both places relying so heavily on imports, as well as the tourism boom and how that is leading to the displacement of the local population. I've reported on both those stories in Puerto Rico, so I'll link them for you here so you can watch them. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is that part of what I really want to do this year is look at other countries and compare them to Puerto Rico to see what we can learn from their experiences. So if you want to help us in that mission, I will link my Patreon and also a fundraiser, because this story, this trip to Hawaii, and the video you just watched was only possible thanks to your support. So thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.